Welcome to part 2 of Synagogues of Florida. In this episode, we take a look at another 4 cities: Jacksonville, St. Augustine, Palm Coast, and Gainesville. As the map indicates, these are all in the northeast section of the state. Our first stop is in Jacksonville. Jacksonville has a population of about 843,000 and is home to 4 Jewish houses of worship. This is Lubavitch Chabad of Northeast Florida. There are about a half dozen Chabad houses in the Northeast Florida coastal area. This building is its regional headquarters. Rabbi Nachum Kurinsky is its director, and it's been around for more than 20 years. And now on to our next Jacksonville location. Congregation Ahavas Chesed is affiliated with the Reform movement. Friday night Shabbat services take on different forms and times depending on the week of the month. Saturday morning has a Torah study followed by a regular service. Robert Goodman is listed as their rabbi. The congregation was organized in 1880. This particular building was dedicated in 1979 and is home to a membership roll of over 700 families. And we now turn our attention to the third Jewish house of worship in Jacksonville. This is the sign for Congregation Eitz Chaim Synagogue. It's a little difficult to see the building because of all the trees, but we'll try our best. Eitz Chaim is an Orthodox shul. Being Orthodox, there are daily services twice a day. Senior rabbi is Yaakov Fish. He took this title in the year 2010. Prior to this, he was the youth rabbi for 6 years. The current youth rabbi is Shaya Hopman. By the way, I'm sure you realize by now that we can't show you a direct ground shot of the building, but we can show an overhead and how it connects to the street where the sign is. There is even an eruv for the community to allow the Orthodox Jews to carry on the Sabbath within its boundaries. And there is a mikveh. The congregation began in 1901 and eventually moved to this site. As we pan the camera back, you'll notice that the road abuts on a 4-lane two-way highway. 2.5 years ago, tragedy struck when a mother was crossing her 16-year-old daughter across all 8 lanes to try not to miss the beginning of the Kol Nidre service. A careless driver with a history of prior incidents struck both women and killed the mother. A subsequent effort was made to improve traffic safety for those because a strict adherence to Orthodox practice will not touch the walk request button on Shabbat and holidays in order to get traffic to come to a stop on this 8-lane highway. And this brings us to Jacksonville Jewish Center. Jonathan Lubliner has been its senior rabbi since 2004. Howard Tillman is the other rabbi on the clergy team, having been appointed in 2014. The congregation started out in 1901 as the Hebrew Congregation B'nai Israel. In 1926, it switched to the conservative movement, and in 1927, it changed its name to the current Jacksonville Jewish Center. This current site was finalized in 1976. We turn our attention now to our next city, St. Augustine. This is Sons of Israel, a conservative congregation. It has Shabbat services on both Friday evenings and Saturday mornings, and it has a seating capacity of 225. The congregation began in 1908, and services were held in private homes until 1924, when this building was erected. There is no rabbi listed as spiritual leader. And we now move on to our other Jewish house of worship in St. Augustine. This is the sign for Temple Bet Yam, a Reform congregation. It is partially obscured by the trees and fence. Shabbat services are held on Friday evenings when they are scheduled. The congregation began in 1993. The congregation claims to have 110 member families, and its Rabbi Emeritus is Mark Goldman. And now, on to our next city, Palm Coast. As the sign reads, this is Temple Bet Shalom, a conservative-affiliated congregation. There are always Friday night Shabbat services, but the type varies depending on the week of the month. Saturday morning Shabbat may be a Torah talk or a full Shabbat service. Again, it depends on the schedule. Zev Sonnenstein is the rabbi. It had its first service in 1980, and now we turn our attention to our fourth city, Gainesville. Congregation B'nai Israel is a conservative synagogue. David Kaiman has been its rabbi since 2003. Shabbat services are held both Friday evenings and Saturday mornings, and there's a Kiddush after the Saturday morning service. There is also a Shabbat afternoon Mincha service. The camera is pointing to their school building, as it provides a clearer view of the facilities. This here is the Lubavitch Chabad Jewish Student Center. Gainesville happens to also be the home to the University of Florida, and Lubavitch Chabad caters to the needs of Jewish students who are interested in a more traditional Orthodox practice of custom. Rabbi Burl Goldman is director, and Rabbi Aaron Chaim Nutik is program director. Our third and final site in Gainesville is Temple Shir Shalom, a Reform congregation. Michael Joseph is its rabbi and has been so since 2004. Shabbat services are held on Friday evenings and about twice a month a Saturday morning service and Torah study. The congregation began in 1985. And this wraps up our trips to these four cities in Northeast Florida. There's much more of Synagogues of Florida to come. Bye for now, and hope to see you soon.